The Wizard of Oz might have had a cause. It's Rhyme and Reason 928.
Here's your rhyme and reason. Oh yeah.
Hey there, Tony here. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Yeah, if you grew up far enough back in the 20th century, you know that famous kind of line, don't you? When I was a kid, way back before those gigantic TV screens we have now, and even before remote controls for that matter, the Wizard of Oz movie came on once a year. I don't know exactly what my parents thought about the movie, but the kids, we sure got a kick out of it. But who knew the Wizard of Oz had so many double meanings? I certainly didn't. Plus, I just never gave it much more thought than, about how imaginative and colorful it was. It was a really colorful movie. Well, the beginning of it was in black and white, and it transformed into color when Dorothy went over the rainbow, but that's another story. Anyway, unless you're someone who thinks there's hidden messages in everything, the chances are you were the same way as me about it. The Wizard of Oz was just a movie that really entertained us kids, right? Well, I saw an article recently that takes some of the main characters in The Wizard of Oz to a whole nother level. And I'll tell you up front, I haven't spent any time trying to verify or nullify any of the validity of that article. And I'm not going to do that either. I just thought it sounded interesting. And I thought you might too. So here's what the article said. The straw man represents that fictional, all caps legal fiction. The person. He wanted a brain, but got a certificate. The birth certificate. Think of it that way. Then there's the Tin Man, the TIN, which can also stand for Taxpayer Identification Number. Man. Yeah. He was sort of a robotic avatar who worked tirelessly until his body literally froze up and stopped functioning. The heartless and emotional robot creature who worked himself to death because he had no heart or soul. Then there was the Cowardly Lion, who was a bully to start out with. He was actually a true coward when someone stood up to him finally, but like most bullies, he lacked true courage. And in the end, the wizard gave him an official recognition award, authority and status. The Wizard of Oz used magic and smoke and flames and holograms. But all of that were just tricks and illusions to push fear and compliance to make people do what he commanded. The truth was, the wizard had no real power and only used illusions to create false power and authority. And now we get down to it, the Wicked Witch. She pushed fear through intimidation. She was after Toto. Remember the little dog Toto? And she controlled the flying monkey police, the policy enforcers, and the mischievous demons. And those also represent the Bar Association, who attack and control all the little people for the great crown wizard. The crooked bankers of Oz, obsessed with gold. So, in the field of poppies, the characters I just mentioned were not real humans, so drugs had no effect on them. But Dorothy was drugged. The Wizard of Oz was written at the time when Rockefeller and Big Pharma began to take over medicine and education. The Crown was actually the largest drug dealer. And after their takeover of drug distribution in China, they began to expand all around the world. Toto was what the Wicked Witch was really after. Toto in Latin means in total. Toto exposed the Wizard of Oz and had no fear despite being very small compared to the Great Wizard. So no one noticed him. Toto was the one that pulled the curtain on the wizard and his magical scams. And that curtain also signifies the end of an act or scene. He pulled the curtain and started barking until others paid attention, hypothetically giving everyone the red pill. The curtain hid the corporate legal fiction and its false courts. So no matter how small your bark is, it can be heard. And that's the end of the article. Now, the best conspiracy theories are the ones that seem plausible, right? And knowing how the powers that be in the world of arts and sciences love to push their narrative du jour, this Wizard of Oz entree isn't so far-fetched, if you ask me. And on another note entirely, here's my poetic narrative of the day, and this is for the kiddos. It's called Rainbow Riders. Riding on a rainbow after all the raindrops fell, little rainbow riders didn't hear the dinner bell. So they kept on riding through the sky above the clouds, high above the weather and away from all the crowds. They could see the sailing ships and fishes in the sea. They could see the pyramids and the lands of mystery. All the world was like a book with video and sound, and they could turn the pages just by going round and round. Little rainbow riders ride the rainbows till they fade. Then they land on Earth and have a picnic in the shade. They fill their bowls with berries and juicy melons too, and fall asleep and dream of riding rainbows through the blue. And you should ride on over to TonyFunderburk.com and jump on the Rhyme and Reason bandwagon, and that way you can be a part of the growing band of believers who know life has rhyme and reason because God is real.